Nobody can join actually. Only events. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining in. Please wait. We are starting momentarily.
Events. Please be patiently seated as the vehicles prepare to take to the field. The Indian Squadron of War Thunder has several Indian civilians who love and adore military vehicles. We would like to showcase the Indian armored forces in this game. The processions will take place momentarily. Behold the might of the Indian armored and aerial forces as they roll and fly past the parade grounds, showcasing the might and bravery of the Indian military. Leading the formation on the grounds are the mighty Centurion main battle tanks, displaying the beginning of a rich military history as it leads today's parade with honor and pride. Accompanying the Centurions overhead is a squadron of Spitfires, flying past ever so gracefully. The Centurion MBTs carry a 105mm rifled barrel, which is accompanied by its 37 km top speed. They were the main task force of the army during the 50s and 60s. They took part in the 1965 war and were eventually retired in the 70s. Following the Spitfires is a squadron of Tempests, soaring through the airspace like angels. Both aircrafts are legends and are the first ever aircraft to be used by the Indian Air Force. The Centurion MBT has been used in the Indian Army very well. It displays might and courage for everyone who is able to view this tank. As the last Centurion MBT passes, another icon of the Indian Armed Forces shares its presence with us. This is none other than the famous Vijayanta. The Vijayanta is an indigenously produced tank, licensely built here. It boasts a 105mm smoothbore cannon. It also has the top speed of 55 kilometers per hour. This tank was used in the 1971 war and also in the Kargil war. Flying over the Vijayanta is a squadron of vampires, flying with pride and vigor. These jets provided air superiority over the battlefields of the Indo-Pakistan War of 71, in which they received the title of Saber Killer. The Vijayantas were a crucial part in the Indian Armed Forces during the 71 war, as they crushed the enemy tank battalions and forces in several battles in the war. As the Vijayantas pass, they are complemented by the T-55 Vijays. Watch as they drive past with valor. The T-55 Vijay is another MBT used alongside the Vijayanta in the 71 war. It carries a powerful 100mm smoothbore cannon. Complementing the Vijays in the air ever so nobly is a squadron of hunters known as Baz. In the Indian Air Force, it is also another air superiority fighter which also shares the title of Saber Killer. This particular jet was the core of the Indian Air Force in the 70s. This aircraft rivaled the air supremacy of the Pakistani Sabres, F-86 Sabres. The Vijay, as mentioned before, carries a 100mm smoothbore cannon and is complemented by its 55 kilometers per hour top speed. As the Vijays leave the grounds, the PT-76 or the Pippa follow the Vijay, displaying courage and daring will of the Indian crews during the Bangladesh Liberation War, as they crossed rivers and difficult terrain in record time. The Pippa is an amphibious light tank used by the Indian forces in the 70s. Providing safe cover for the Pippa in the mentioned terrain are the French jet Ouragan, referred to as Tufani. It is another air superiority fighter fighting alongside the Baz and Vampire. In fact, it also bears the title of Saber Killer. However, they also provided precision close air support for land-based troops, strafing and bombing several enemy positions and units. The Pippa is armed with a 76mm cannon with a modest top speed of 45 km per hour. However, they played a crucial role in providing support to both Vijays and infantry during the war. Tailing the Pippas are the modified ZSU-23-4 Biryusa, a self-propelled anti-air gun system with a radar system on top. These units have provided cover for the ground units by repelling enemy air support day in and night. The Biryusa is equipped with 4 23mm autocannons and 4 indigenously built surface-to-air missiles. Speaking of cover for ground units, flying majestically overhead are the Canberra, nicknamed Khan. They flew during the 71 war as recon and bomber units. Pilots flying the Khans would provide battlefield air support for our infantry and targeted strategic key positions during the war. The Biryusa, although very lightly armored, carries, as I mentioned, 23mm autocannons. It sprays over 1,600 bullets per minute. Following the Biryusa is T-72 Ajaya. Although a more modern MBT, they have earned their respect amongst crews as they portray impeccable survivability. It is armed with a 125mm smoothbore cannon able to fire anti-tank guided munitions, APFSDS, Heat FS, and several more other munitions. Accompanying the Ajaya is a squadron of Jaguar IS, Samsher, an aircraft used in striking enemy positions precisely during the Kargil War, where the pilots supported the ground units like a hawk protecting its children. The Ajaya has a lot of ERA armor, explosive reacted armor. It also has a 60 km top speed, and these units still serve the army to date. Watch as they drive by with pride in their eyes. As the T-72s maneuver to the end of the grounds, BMP-2 Saraths take the rear. This vehicle is a primary infantry fighting vehicle of our army since the 80s. They are armed with 30mm cannons and indigenously built NAG anti-tank guided missiles. Flying overhead is a squadron of Mirage 2000s. They are commonly known as Vajra by the Air Force. They are the go-to strike platform with several ground support armaments on every pylon. They fly with utmost loyalty to the forces, providing precision strikes to enemy units, strategic emplacements, and key positions in combat. The Saraths are modestly armed with armor, however, they still carry out their duties by taking infantry to the front lines. 6 infantrymen can be put into a Sarath and be transported to the front lines. providing cover for the ground-based units in the modern day is the Prakash surface-to-air missile system. These units work alongside the Biryusa and air units to ensure that the supremacy of the enemy in the air is completely nullified. A squadron of MiG-21 Bisons fly overhead, assisting the Prakash Ram system, sharing the same goal: securing air superiority over contested areas and keeping the air clear from enemy threats for the ground units. These planes have been in the Air Force for over 50 years and have protected the skies of India countless times in the past. As the Prakash system drives through the parade, they are armed with 4 surface-to-air missile systems to defend ground units during combat. However, they are very lightly armed and several infantry-based weaponry can take out these units quick. However, they are always placed in the back lines of the army. Finally, on the ground, the backbone of the Indian Army takes its step into the parade grounds. T-90S Bhishma, the most modern tank of the Indian Army, drives past with patriotic spirit. In the air, the Su-30's flankers pass by ever so swiftly and menacingly, daring our force to take on the Air Force with its superior armaments and agility, creating a safe environment for civilian and military personnel alike. In the rear of the flankers is a squadron of MiG-27 Bahadur, flying in full glory, and rightfully so, as they have earned the nickname Kargil Hero of the Sky. The Bhishma is armed with a 125mm smoothbore cannon, able to fire anti-tank guided munitions, APFSDS, Heat FS, and several more other munitions. It is also armed with Kanchan armor, an indigenous ERA produced by India. The Bhishma is used in every front line that the Indian Army has: West, East, and North. The Navy is also being represented today. A squadron of Harriers, White Tigers, fly past with great honor. They have protected the airspace over the Indian Ocean since 1983. These aircraft have thrust vectoring capabilities which allow them to take off like helicopters. These units operated on INS Virat, Vikrant, and Vikram Aditya. Following the Harriers is a squadron of MiG-29 Rs. They complement the Harriers with their zeal. These aircraft have been protecting the airspace and conduct several sorties, ensuring the seas are safe from potential threats since 2013, and are currently being used in the Indian Navy by INS Vikramaditya and the newly built INS Vikrant. Ladies and gentlemen, as the ceremony nears its end, I would request all of you to be patiently seated. To conclude the parade, Captain Sage of the War Thunder India Squadron will close the ceremony with a flyby in his beloved Hawker Hunter. The War Thunder India Squadron, as I mentioned before, is full of patriotic Indian civilians who respect and adore the Indian military and equipment. We are a big community with over 400 people and 200 active members of a squadron. We also have two sister squadrons, Bajra and TWMP. Please be patient as Captain Sage enters the airspace, flying the Tiranga aerobatic smoke in his Hawker Hunter. Watch him fly by with his beloved Hawker Hunter, his head being held high with pride before you. As he takes to the skies in an unrestricted climb, he displays the motto of the Indian Air Force: touch the skies with the glory. The ceremony has been ended now. The forces that you just saw will now be heading back to the front lines or at the borders as duty calls to serve your nation.